So, Olena Domanska, welcome to Living Proof. It's great to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, I am in Cambridge at the Isaac Newton Institute. Where are you at the moment?
Currently, I am near Manchester. I live not far away from Manchester, 30 kilometers to the south of it, in the small village Bramhall, but a beautiful one. Actually, I love it, being here a lot.
Did you know the area before you moved to it? Have you been to that part of the world before?
I've been to the UK once while doing my PhD, but not here, not near Manchester, no.
No, well, it's a very bold and beautiful part of the country, I believe. So I'm glad you enjoy it. We're speaking to you, Olena, because you are one of quite a few people now who have taken part in the Solidarity for Mathematicians programme. And for those that don't know, that provides refuge for mathematicians and other scientists who have had to flee their home country. That could be for persecution or other reasons. So it would be really interesting to hear about your experience of that. Tell me, what led you to seek out the Solidarity Programme? What led you to apply for it?
Okay, thank you for your interest in my story. And thank you for this opportunity provided by the Solidarity for Mathematicians programme. So my journey to the UK and to the Solidarity programme started basically on that terrible, fateful day, February 24th in 2022. So I vividly remember that day, being awakened by my husband early in the morning. It was 4 a.m., I believe, and he said, "Wake up, the full-scale war started against us." So I remember children were still asleep and totally unaware of what's going to happen with their lives, and that they were about to change everything, to leave their home, their friends, school, basically everything they loved so much, at least for years. So right now it's almost 2 years. And I recall sirens constantly wailing outside, and the panic and this, overwhelming sense of urgency that, simply paralyzed myself and everyone around me. And I understood that there was so much to do and so much to think about. But because of this, panic, this chaos around us, it was difficult even to take a step and, to move, to do something. The only thing that we could all do was checking the news thread, understanding what was going on and trying to think around what's going on. So, and back then the news hinted at the risk of Ukraine being encircled and, a high chance of facing a blockade. And basically, as you know, many Ukrainian cities did face this afterwards, and it's even difficult to imagine what people went through during those times. And thus we had to make a difficult choice, to stay or to leave, basically. And basically, it was very tough for ourselves because we knew that we couldn't take everyone with us. With my own family of 7 people and my husband's mother and my parents, everyone will not just fit in one car. And, it felt like one of those horrible riddles when you must choose whom to take and whom to leave behind. And then we instructed the children to pack, saying that we are leaving home for maybe for a week or 2 until everything is settled down. And again, in the middle of all that, I spoke to my parents, but my parents decided to stay. My mother, she's a school head teacher, and she simply couldn't abandon her students, educational process. And basically to this day, they are still in the country, remain to be in Ukraine, help people. To be honest, I'm very proud of my parents, my mother in particular, for their courage, dedication, and even self-sacrifice for those children, refugees, and evacuees. Because soon after the war started, schools started to accommodate displaced individuals. And basically, they lost everything. They lost their homes, their possessions, their friends, their relatives. They had nothing. And back then, they just slept on the floor in the school's gym. And every morning, my father would drive to various volunteer centers to bring food and clothing to these people. And my mother organized her own fund. So she organized making dumplings, camouflage nets, and just try to provide some support and hope for those people. But back to that day, I realized that my parents wouldn't leave. And so we took children, my mother-in-law, and set off. And basically, we didn't know even where to go because we had nothing to go, nowhere to go, right? So no one awaited us. So we just decided to drive to Polish border. And I remember the queue to cross the border with Poland was about 30 kilometers. And can you imagine 30 kilometers of cars and people who were desperate to save their children, their friends, their beloved ones? And we understood that it would probably take days, if not weeks, of waiting. And the journey was long indeed, but eventually we found ourselves in Poland, in Krakow, and it felt much better. And then our angels began to emerge on our way. And first it was amazing family, Natalie Kershaw and Adam Burton, and very kind people. They opened their home to us and provided us a heaven in the UK. That was this Homes for Ukraine scheme, and they provided incredible support to us. And we understood that we are not alone. There are incredible people around wanted to help us. And that built a confidence in us, to move forward. And basically, they did so much for our family that I can't even say how grateful I am for that. But moving closer to the Solidarity program. When we arrived in the UK, many people simply wanted to help and often asking what they can do for us, how they can be helpful. And back then, I was really interested in continuing what I'm good at and what I was passionate about, and I am passionate about. And that's doing mathematical research. Yeah, so to be honest, I was always passionate about mathematics, and that led me to pursue a PhD in differential equations. So I did it back in Ukraine. And as I said already, during my PhD, I had an amazing chance to visit the United Kingdom and present my research at the Isaac Newton Institute in Cambridge, where you are right now. So I was inspired by the talented mathematicians and their brilliant ideas. And back then, thinking about the collaboration and the opportunity to work in a team with the leading mathematicians was just like a dream for myself. And I remember mentioning this in conversation with one lady who came to us, Alexia, saying that, I would be very interested and very happy to collaborate with these brilliant minds, with UK mathematicians. And she said, okay, let's see what we can do. And she introduced myself to Professor Andrew Hazel, head of the Department of Mathematics at Manchester University. And then Professor Hazel introduced myself to the Solidarity program. As you said, this stepping stone for displaced mathematicians like myself, and basically this opportunity for people like me to continue their work and their mathematical research in a safe place in the UK. And so Professor Hazel encouraged me to apply to this program and even offered to act like a host institution. And his support has been and is right now invaluable. So back then he introduced myself to the department, helped to integrate into the mathematical society, and even facilitated my research under the supervision of Professor Yang Han Huang. And still, during my time in the Solidarity program, life took an incredible turn. And I was blessed with the arrival of my second daughter, making her baby number 5 in my family. So I've got 5 children in total. So this somewhat slowed down my research progress. However, despite even these additional responsibilities, I was able to publish 3 articles as a result of my research. And basically, I think that it was a fruitful outcomes even for this somewhat difficult and full of events year. And then as the deadline of the first year of the program approached, I recall my visit to Professor Hazel. I intended just to express my gratitude for all the support and assistance he provided, and highlighting the wonderful experience I had, all the communication network, etc. And then I mentioned that I still had some ideas yet to explore. And it was during that conversation that Professor Hazel said, you know what, let's see what we can do. And given the unique circumstances, he proposed the possibility of extending the program even further for 1 more year. And that's how we ended up applying for 1 more year for the extension of this program. And ultimately, the extension was successfully approved and bringing us to where we are right now, my 2nd year on the program. And I'm really grateful for the support I received and for the opportunity to continue my academic work, thanks to this I&I Solidarity Program for Mathematicians.
Thank you very much for sharing that story, Olena, because that was absolutely fascinating in every sense. I'm really interested to know about your research. Tell me, what's your field and what kind of work are you undertaking?
Yeah, so I started my research in the field of differential equations. But then, as the life progressed, I got involved into artificial intelligence. And right now, my focus is at the intercept of differential equation and artificial intelligence. And I'm researching neural networks with the understanding how differential equations can help with that.
You seemingly are doing very well at navigating all of those challenges. How do you feel about that? Because putting aside the fact that you have had to leave your home country, you're finding yourself in the UK and you have this large and growing family, but you're still managing to keep your research going. What advice would you give to anyone who's trying to do that themselves?
Yeah, so first of all, it's your passion about something. It's something that you feel that is fulfilling you and keeping you going forward. So I've got, speaking about myself, I've got a lot of help from my family, from my mother, from my mother-in-law, from my children, and that's what helps me a lot. But for other people who are in the situation like mine, facing tough times or expecting or just some challenges, having some challenges, I would like to say, just keep going, keep moving, no matter what. Accept any help that comes on your end, on your way, and don't be afraid to learn new things, to ask for help, because your skills and who you are and what you are good at are valuable whenever you are, even if you are not at home. So this program I'm in right now is amazing. It's not just about research. It's also about connections, about networks. It's bringing countries closer together. And I think it's a good chance to make strong connections and to build relationships between different nations, different countries, and to build a good future together right now. Even though it's a tough time, but it's also an opportunity. Just don't afraid to pick it up and to go ahead.
That seems very obvious from what a success you're making of your time in Manchester. Obviously, you still have a lot of family and contacts back home in Ukraine. What was your hometown? Where did you live?
Lviv. It's the west part of Ukraine.
Yeah. So your parents are still there. I think you said your mother's still there with her school. How do you feel about this may be a very silly question, so I do apologise if it comes across that way. What are your feelings about Ukraine at the moment? Do you miss your life there terribly, or are you so engrossed in your life here that helps to suppress that homesickness?
No, I'm terribly missing my country, my relatives, my friends, my parents, and this is my the best desire to go back to Ukraine and to proceed my life there. My children want to go back home with all of their hearts, So I feel very sorry of what's going on right now in Ukraine. I wish that the victory will come soon, and all the people will have the possibility to go back to Ukraine, to rebuild it, and to make it a incredible country. We were so proud to live in, and I'm sure we will be happy to live in the nearest future.
Well, you'll be a sad loss to Britain, I'm sure, because it sounds like you're contributing a huge amount. Tell me, what does the immediate future hold for you? So your work seems to be going very well. Although you say your children clearly miss Ukraine, I hope that they're enjoying their time at whatever school they're attending. But what does the rest of January and the forthcoming month of February hold for you?
Yeah, it's a lot of work and daily routine right now here in the UK. But of course we have Ukraine in our heart, and we try to preserve Ukrainian traditions, and we try to raise our children proud patriots of our country, and keep going, keep working, but remember who you are, and try to work better for the better future, and hopefully in our country.
An inspiring thought. Do you know any other Ukrainians in your life at the moment? Any others who are living in the Manchester area?
Yes, we do have community here. Great people living nearby. We try to have some events together, to spend some time together. The UK was a great place for Ukrainians, and there are many families right now living here, and finding this place like a heaven for themselves. So we are not alone here, and we are having our children have a good childhood with normal days, not hiding in the shelters, but having some joy, friends, the opportunity to have a good education. We are very grateful for this, for the UK and for all the people around us.
And one final question. How old is your second daughter?
She is 8 months right now.
8 months. Okay. So probably slightly past the worst of it, but there's plenty of hard work yet to come. I say worst and best. There's wonderful things, aren't there, about having a young child, but getting absolutely no sleep is not one of them. So I think you're doing extremely well. Olena, it's been a real pleasure to talk to you. And I wish you all the best. I hope that we hear more from you and your work on the Solidarity Programme. So thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a real joy to talk to you.